Listen carefully, for what I am about to share may overturn every assumption you have ever held about power and presence. Our society endlessly celebrates those who speak the loudest, who react the most fiercely, those who express emotions like crashing waves. But if you look deeper, you'll realize true power does not belong to the noisiest among us. In a world full of chaos, the truly powerful are those who remain steadfastly calm, so calm that they make others uneasy. In every debate, real victory doesn't come from fits of rage, but from those who can master themselves and refuse to be ruled by emotion. Sadly, most of us waste our energy masking our insecurities, desperately projecting outer strength while forgetting that inner strength is the real foundation. Anxiety and restlessness only make us predictable and easy to control. In contrast, when you remain calm, you become an alluring mystery, difficult to read, sometimes even triggering others' instincts to be on guard. This is the hidden advantage that only those who understand and govern themselves possess. Start simple. Relax your shoulders, slow your breath, and feel that shift within. This is only the first step on the journey to building true power from within. And today, I'll share with you 7 lessons that will help you forge unshakable calm, so much so that the world cannot help but notice. Lesson 1. The confidence circuit. In a world obsessed with appearance, we are conditioned to believe that confidence is a trait some people are simply born with, a mysterious gift reserved for the lucky few. We see those who move through life with an unshakable calm, their words carrying weight, their presence commanding a room, and we wonder, what secret do they possess? But the truth, often ignored yet deeply liberating, is this: confidence is not something you are given. It is something you actively create, day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. The wisdom of the Stoics shines brightest when we dismantle these old myths. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In this single sentence lies a profound truth about confidence. Freedom true, inner liberty begins with the decision to master your own mind, your own reactions, your own sense of self. Confidence, in the Stoic sense, is not arrogance or bravado. It is the unshakable calm that comes from self-command, the quiet certainty that you can withstand whatever life throws at you because you have trained your mind to serve you, not betray you. Modern neuroscience, interestingly, affirms what the Stoics intuited thousands of years ago. Your brain cannot distinguish between real confidence and the confidence you intentionally practice. When you hold yourself with poise, when you dare to look yourself in the eye and stand tall, the same neural pathways light up, the same chemical messengers flow. In other words, you can fake it until you make it, not as an act of deceit, but as a discipline of transformation. Through conscious action, you begin to rewire the very circuits of your self-belief. This idea may sound abstract, but its power lies in its practicality. Imagine this: every morning, before the demands of the world clamor for your attention, before notifications tug at your focus, you choose to stand in front of the mirror. You look yourself directly in the eyes, not with vanity, but with intent. 30 seconds. That's all it takes. Most will find this simple task surprisingly uncomfortable. 10 seconds can feel like an eternity. And yet, this moment, repeated with intention, becomes a radical act of self-programming. You are teaching your nervous system that eye contact is not a threat, but a gesture of safety, strength, and acceptance. With each repetition, you dismantle the old circuitry of self-doubt and construct a new foundation of self-assurance. Let's anchor this in a real-life example. Consider the story of Eleanor Roosevelt, a woman who once described herself as a shy, awkward child plagued by insecurity and fear. She was born into privilege, yet her early life was marked by self-doubt and social anxiety. But Eleanor, in her search for meaning and impact, discovered the transformative power of conscious practice. She forced herself to speak in public, to take on leadership roles, to hold her ground in the face of criticism and hostility. Day after day, she confronted the discomfort, and in doing so, she rewired her mind and spirit. By the time she became First Lady of the United States, her calm and poise under pressure were legendary. She herself once reflected, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face." Her life was a testament to the Stoic circuit of confidence, not an inborn gift, but a muscle built through deliberate action. Returning to our own lives, we see that true confidence is not the loud voice in the room or the dramatic gesture. It is the steady presence, the calm that soothes chaos, the quiet courage to face discomfort, both within and without. It is a decision, a discipline to act as your own ally, especially when your doubts and fears demand that you shrink. The Stoics remind us, and neuroscience confirms, that the mind can be taught. The circuits of confidence can be constructed, one intentional act at a time. Begin with the mirror. Stand tall, breathe deeply, hold your gaze. This ritual, as unassuming as it seems, is the seed from which your new self will grow. In time, you will notice subtle shifts. Your posture more grounded, your voice more even, your thoughts less clouded by uncertainty. Others may sense it too, even if they cannot explain why your presence calms a room or why your words seem to land with more weight. To be truly calm, to be so calm that it makes people notice, even worry, is not to suppress your nerves, but to become the master of them. Like the Stoics before us, we are called not to chase applause or approval, but to cultivate a steadiness that no external force can shake. In practicing this first lesson, you are not simply acting confident. You are, in fact, building the confidence circuit that transforms who you are from the inside out. And that, in the deepest sense, is both your right and your responsibility. Lesson 2. The body language of authority. Pause for a moment and truly observe yourself. The way you hold your body right now, shoulders slouched or squared, chin up or bowed, hands hidden or open quietly, tells the world who you are long before your voice ever enters the room. In the dance of human interaction, most of us remain oblivious to the silent language our bodies speak. Yet it is this unspoken conversation that defines our presence far more than any words we might choose. Society teaches us to focus on what to say, but neglects the silent power of how we stand, move, and simply exist. The problem is simple, yet profound. Most people unconsciously project weakness, anxiety, and self-doubt, whether in a boardroom, a cafe, or even walking down the street. Slumped shoulders, fidgeting hands, and darting eyes betray our inner turbulence. Others sense this in an instant. Without a word, you broadcast a signal of uncertainty that is picked up instinctively by everyone around you. This silent transmission undermines your authority and sabotages your influence before a single idea leaves your lips. The Stoics understood the gravity of presence not as arrogance, but as a reflection of internal harmony. Seneca once wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This wisdom, when applied to the body, reminds us that the nervous stories we tell ourselves, stories that manifest as shallow breaths and shifting weight, are rarely grounded in truth. Instead, they are shadows on the wall, conjured by our own anxieties. If we learn to master the stories our bodies tell, we gain the power not just to influence others, but to calm the storms within. But how can we rewrite this silent narrative? The solution, though subtle, is transformative. Start by simply standing up. Yes, truly, stand up right now. Feel the weight of your body settle into your feet. Draw your shoulders gently back, not as a pose of pride, but as a gesture of self-respect. Let your chin tilt down just slightly, exactly 10 degrees. This ancient signal of calm dominance, encoded in our biology, commands attention without aggression. The apex predator, the lion or the eagle, does not fidget. It conserves every movement, radiating a quiet strength that silences a crowd more effectively than any roar. Emulate this economy of movement. Let your stillness speak. Modern science validates what ancient wisdom intuited. In 2010, social psychologist Amy Cuddy and colleagues published a groundbreaking study. Power posing, brief nonverbal displays affect neuroendocrine levels and risk tolerance. The research showed that simply holding a power pose for 2 minutes, increasing your physical expansiveness, and holding stillness raises testosterone by 20% and lowers cortisol by 25%. This is not psychological trickery, it is a physiological fact. Your body is not just a reflection of your mind, it is an engine that can rewire your mental state. Consciously choosing your posture, you are, in effect, chemically engineering confidence and composure. Fred Rogers, known to generations as Mr. Rogers, was a master of calm authority. On his iconic television show, he never rushed, never raised his voice, and rarely made unnecessary movements. His posture was open, his gestures slow and gentle, inviting viewers, especially children, into a space of trust and security. Rogers could hold a silent pause and let it linger, turning even quiet moments into powerful lessons. His unshakable presence reassured countless children that they were safe and valued. Through quiet composure and purposeful stillness, Mr. Rogers proved that genuine authority needs no theatrics, just authenticity and unwavering calm. Adopting the body language of authority is not about arrogance or dominance over others. It is about aligning your external posture with your inner calm, allowing both to reinforce each other in a virtuous cycle. In practicing this, you begin to master the art of Stoic leadership, projecting certainty and composure, even when uncertainty swirls around you. And as you do, you will notice the subtle shift. Conversations grow quieter when you speak. People listen more attentively, and your influence deepens, not through noise, but through the undeniable presence of calm. Let this be your invitation. Stand, become aware, and allow your body to tell a new story, one of unshakable self-mastery, grounded in the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, and now confirmed by the science of our age. The world does not need more noise. It needs more stillness, and that stillness can begin with you, right now. Lesson 3. The breath weapon. Imagine stepping onto a battlefield, sword in hand, chaos roaring all around. Yet while others let fear grip their breath and tighten their chest, you move with the deliberate calm of a seasoned warrior, your lungs expanding with steady purpose, your mind as clear as a mountain lake at dawn. This is not just poetic fantasy. It is the art of mastering one of the most overlooked weapons in your arsenal, your breath. For most of us, breathing is a background process, barely noticed and almost never questioned. Yet every shallow, hurried inhale is like ceding territory to anxiety, giving your nervous system permission to run wild, unchecked, at the first sign of stress. We grow up believing that willpower alone can win the day, that brute force of thought or charisma is what sets us apart. But power, in the Stoic sense, is quieter and far more subversive. It starts with the hidden rhythms that shape your biology long before you speak a single word. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You have probably been breathing wrong your entire life. It's not your fault. Our modern world encourages short, stressed, high chest breaths, the kind you take when you're always on alert, always on, always waiting for the next ping, the next confrontation, the next worry. But this constant state of readiness is, in fact, a state of vulnerability. Your biology is stuck in survival mode, and your ability to think clearly, to command your presence, withers in the shadows of adrenaline and cortisol. But there is another way. Across continents and centuries, from the silent halls of samurai training grounds to the relentless rigor of Navy SEAL conditioning, one principle stands unchanged. The person who controls their breath controls their state. The technique is almost absurdly simple, yet its impact is profound. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 7. Exhale slowly for 8. Repeat. You might be skeptical of how something so basic can shift your experience so deeply. And yet, as soon as you begin, your body tells a different story. Your vagus nerve, the ancient superhighway linking your brain and body, sends the signal to shift gears. Your heart rate slows. The chemical messengers of stress fade into the background, and your mind finds a stillness that is both unfamiliar and intoxicating. Science has confirmed what ancient warriors intuited. It is biochemically impossible for your body to remain anxious while breathing like this. You are, quite literally, hacking your own biology, regaining authority from the reptile brain that wants to keep you on edge. It is not just about feeling calm for a moment, but about reclaiming command in situations where others lose their footing. You can do this in a crowded boardroom, mid-argument, even seconds before stepping onto a stage. No one will notice the shift, but everyone will feel it because your calm is contagious, your presence magnetic. There is a special kind of power in being unmoved when the world expects you to shatter. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words cut to the heart of the matter. The world will always try to drag you into its chaos, to lure you into reacting with panic or fury. But you are not a leaf tossed by every storm. You are the mountain itself, steady and silent, shaping the wind by refusing to be moved. When you control your breath, you take command of your mind. When you take command of your mind, you gain mastery over your reality. Breathing with intention is not just a coping mechanism, it is an act of philosophical rebellion. It says, I choose not to be ruled by circumstance. I choose my response, not my reflex. Each slow, deep breath becomes a vote for composure, a subtle declaration that you will not be made small by your own biology or by the world's demands. So, the next time chaos knocks at your door, do not rush to meet it with noise or force. Instead, pause. Let your breath become your weapon, your shield, your secret source of quiet authority. In that space between inhale and exhale, you will discover a stillness more powerful than any shout, and a presence that leaves others wondering what, exactly, makes you so unshakably calm. Lesson 4. The nervous-making presence. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the entire atmosphere shift without a single word spoken? What if I told you that your presence alone could command such gravity, not through force, not through intimidation, but through an unshakable calm that unsettles the very ground others stand on? This is not a fantasy reserved for legends or movie heroes. It is a state attainable by anyone willing to pursue the discipline and clarity at the heart of Stoicism, a transformation so profound it quietly disrupts the chaos around you. In our world, so many chase attention by raising their voices, reacting dramatically, or striving to be the loudest force in the room. The common myth is that power belongs to those who dominate conversations, who display emotions like fireworks, and overwhelm others with their presence. But genuine influence is subtler, quieter, and far more unsettling. When you truly become calm, not just pretending, not masking your anxiety with forced silence, but embodying real composure. Your presence changes the energy of every room you enter. People sense something different. They can't quite explain it, but they feel it. You become the calm eye in the middle of the storm, the steady anchor when tempers flare and egos battle for dominance. This kind of presence makes people nervous. Why? Because most people are ruled by their emotions. They are conditioned to measure strength by reaction and noise. When they see someone utterly unmoved, when their outbursts fail to provoke a response, it triggers an ancient discomfort. Your calmness quietly exposes the chaos within them. In truth, your inner peace reflects their inner war. And in that moment, your composure is not just a shield for yourself, it is a silent challenge to the world's addiction to drama. But achieving this state is not about suppressing who you are or isolating yourself from conflict. On the contrary, It is about building an inner fortress so steady that outside turbulence cannot breach your walls. The path of the Stoic is not avoidance but mastery. It's recognizing that power lies not in overpowering others, but in refusing to be overpowered by your own impulses. You become immune to provocation because you no longer need validation. Approval and applause lose their hold over you. Your stillness is no longer a performance. It becomes the most genuine expression of your strength. As you grow in this discipline, people will test you more often and intensely than before. They will poke and prod, hoping for a reaction, desperate to prove that your calm is only an act. But the more you hold your ground, the clearer your message becomes. You cannot be manipulated, drawn into petty disputes, or rattled by others' insecurities. Your presence becomes the ultimate mirror, showing people the reality they'd rather avoid, their own lack of control. Some may resent it, others will be drawn to it, inspired by your quiet authority. This is not the end, but the true beginning of your journey. When you become so calm that it unsettles the world, you shift from seeking peace to being the source of peace. You become the adult in a room full of emotional children, the one who brings the temperature down when everyone else is heating up. Every interaction, every conversation, every moment of conflict becomes an opportunity to gift the world your composure. And so I ask you, what will you choose the next time chaos swirls around you? Will you be swept up by the current, or will you stand steady so calm that people can't help but notice? If you found this lesson powerful, don't let it end here. Hit the like button to let others discover these truths. Subscribe to our channel and join a community committed to strength, wisdom, and self-mastery. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to be the calm in the storm, one breath at a time. Lesson 5. The Stoic Secret. Let's pause for a moment and truly imagine what it meant to be Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the entire Roman Empire. Picture the sheer weight on his shoulders, millions of lives dependent on his decisions, wars rumbling at the borders, political intrigue lurking in every marble corridor, each day bringing more uncertainty, more chaos. Now, compare that to your own life, the never-ending messages, the daily pressures, the noise that seems to never stop. It's almost laughable, isn't it? We think we're drowning in stress, and yet, here was an emperor with more on his plate than most of us could ever fathom, starting each morning not with conquests or decrees, but with a pen in hand, writing about calmness, about mastering himself. Not how to conquer others, but how not to be conquered by his own mind. This is the paradox and the power of Stoicism, a philosophy forged in the fires of ancient adversity, and yet more relevant now than ever. It's easy to imagine power as something external, armies, status, loud voices in crowded rooms. But the Stoics, with Marcus Aurelius as their living example, saw power as something utterly internal. Here is the secret. In a world determined to throw you off balance, your real authority comes from one thing only: your response. Neuroscience is finally catching up to what these ancient philosophers intuited thousands of years ago. The outside world is mostly chaos. What happens to you, what people say, the weather, the outcome of a game or a meeting, none of it is truly yours to control. All of it, the Stoics would argue, is just noise. Yet, within that noise, there is a small, inviolable space where you are sovereign. The space between what happens and how you respond. Most of us spend our days anxiously grasping at what we cannot shape. We let the moods of others dictate our peace of mind, let random events ruin our morning, let the world outside determine the weather inside our own hearts. This, according to Stoic wisdom, is the root of so much needless suffering. We think strength is about wrestling with the world, bending it to our will. But true strength, the kind Marcus Aurelius returned to every morning in his meditations, is about releasing what was never yours in the first place. The solution, though brutally simple, is nothing short of revolutionary. The next time anxiety starts to rise, when criticism stings, when the plan goes off track, when life throws its next punch, pause. Ask yourself one question: is this within my control? If the answer is yes, then act. If the answer is no, let it go. And really, let it go. Don't revisit it. Don't argue with it in your head. Don't turn it into a new source of suffering. In that decisive moment, you reclaim your peace and your power. Of course, this isn't easy. Letting go runs counter to everything we've been taught. Society whispers that you must fix, must fight, must win every battle. But the Stoic path is different. It's about discernment, not domination. It's about being the eye in the storm, not the storm itself. The world may swirl around you, emails, opinions, circumstances beyond your grasp, but you stand firm, grounded in your own response. When you practice this dichotomy of control, something astonishing happens. The noise recedes. Suddenly, what once overwhelmed you becomes background hum. You find yourself with energy and clarity you never knew you had. Others sense it too. Your calm unnerves them. Your composure commands respect. You become, almost effortlessly, the most powerful presence in any room, not by making the most noise, but by being the one person who cannot be shaken. This is the Stoic secret, as relevant now as it was 2,000 years ago. It's not about controlling everything. It's about mastering the one thing that always belongs to you, your own mind. Lesson 6. The emotional Aikido. In every room, there is an invisible current, the collective pulse of emotions, anger, anxiety, excitement, and hope. Most people are swept along by this tide, matching energy with energy, heat with heat, outrage with outrage. And yet, the wisest among us know that the true test of strength is not the ability to resist emotion, but to master its flow, much like a seasoned martial artist turns the force of an opponent back upon itself. This is the heart of emotional Aikido, a principle rooted both in ancient wisdom and modern science, and a cornerstone of Stoic resilience. Too often, we are taught that emotions are our enemies, signs of weakness, something to be suppressed or ignored. But what if, instead, our emotions, ours and others, are opportunities for mastery and connection? Emotional Aikido is not about building a wall or becoming numb. It is the art of redirection, harnessing your own emotional energy and that of those around you, transforming even anger or fear into clarity and calm. This is more than philosophy. It is neuroscience in action. Researchers in the field of emotional contagion have shown, as Daniel Goleman details in his book Emotional Intelligence, that emotions ripple outward from person to person with surprising speed and force. In high-stress situations, the dominant emotion, often the loudest or most volatile, can sweep through a group like wildfire. The angry outburst of one colleague, the rising panic of a team, can infect the emotional atmosphere before a single word is spoken. But here lies your opportunity. Calm, as the Stoics knew and modern science confirms, is like emotional kryptonite. When chaos erupts, your steady presence becomes a silent force that alters the chemistry of the room. The more others lose their grip, the more you hold yours. Your stillness unsettles not because it is cold, but because it is unshakable. Their minds expect you to rise to their level, to meet chaos with chaos, but when you refuse, something extraordinary happens. You create a moment of cognitive dissonance, a brief pause in the emotional script, where the room must recalibrate itself around your unwavering center. In the chaos of a crowded emergency room, alarms blare and nurses rush as a patient's heart rate plummets. Panic flickers in the eyes of the team. The lead doctor, however, remains calm. He speaks softly but firmly, assigning roles with clarity and reassuring his colleagues with measured words. His steady presence acts as an anchor. Hands stop trembling, breaths slow, and the team finds its rhythm. While everyone else is swept by urgency, his composure redirects that frantic energy into focused action. In those tense minutes, it is his calm more than his orders that saves lives and restores order. In daily life, emotional Aikido is practiced in the small moments as much as the grand ones. When a friend's frustration rises, you respond with softness, not sarcasm. In an argument, you lower your voice as others shout. In a meeting, when anxiety fills the air, you ground yourself, breathe deeply, and speak with clarity. Over time, you become the emotional anchor, the one others gravitate toward, consciously or not, when they are lost in their own tempests. Yet, this mastery is not effortless. It demands presence, awareness, and relentless self-discipline. You do not extinguish emotion, you redirect it, turning even the wildest energies into opportunities for connection and transformation. But what if you could go even further? What if the greatest display of power was not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say? What if, in the moments when the world shouts for a response, you could wield the most strategic tool of all, silence itself? In Lesson 7, we unlock the ultimate Stoic weapon, the art of strategic silence. Stay with me, because what you discover there may forever change the way you command a room. Lesson 7. The strategic silence. In a world drowning in noise, silence is an act of rebellion. Every day, we are bombarded by voices clamoring for attention, shouting opinions, filling timelines, over-explaining, never allowing a moment's pause. From the constant buzz of group chats to the relentless background hum of social media, silence has become something strange, almost threatening. Yet in the wisdom of Stoicism, there is a different lesson. Say nothing. The most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Consider for a moment the last heated discussion you witnessed. Perhaps it was in the boardroom, where tempers flared and words piled on words, or in a family dispute where everyone felt the need to make their case louder and faster, as if volume could substitute for truth. Now, imagine a person in that room who does not join the chaos, who sits still and silent, letting the waves of noise crash and fall away. Notice what happens. Eyes drift toward the quiet one. Their presence seems to expand. People grow uneasy not because this person is weak, but because their restraint reveals a strength so rare it's almost unsettling. This is not simply about holding your tongue for its own sake. Strategic silence is an art, a deliberate choice, and one of the sharpest tools in the Stoics' arsenal. When you resist the compulsion to fill every gap with words, you force others to confront the empty space. That silence acts like a mirror, reflecting back their own anxieties, their need for reassurance, their discomfort with uncertainty. And it is in that discomfort that truth surfaces. Psychologists know this well. When a conversation is allowed to breathe, when a pause extends just a moment longer than usual, people often reveal what they truly think and feel. They hurry to fill the void, and in doing so, they expose themselves. To understand the power of silence, look no further than the story of Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. It is said that in meetings with his divided cabinet, Lincoln would often fall into long, thoughtful silences after hearing fierce debate. He did not rush to assert himself. Sometimes he simply waited, silent, while the arguments circled around him. That pause, awkward, charged, made his eventual words carry 1,000 times more weight. His calm forced others to listen, to reflect, and to reveal their true motives. In the space that silence created, Lincoln found clarity and command. Of course, this is easier said than done. Our instinct, especially when anxious or under pressure, is to speak quickly, to defend, to fill the air. But true mastery is found in restraint. Next time you are in a conversation, try it. When someone finishes speaking, do not reply right away. Count slowly 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Feel the discomfort grow. Let it. Then, when you do speak, slow your words. Let every syllable land, deliberate and measured. You'll notice how the room shifts, how every eye focuses, how even the most talkative begin to truly listen. Your silence becomes your presence. Your calm becomes contagious. In a world afraid of silence, choose to embrace it. Let your quiet be louder than the noise. Through the strategic use of silence, you claim space, demonstrate unshakable confidence, and invite truth to emerge about others, and, most importantly, about yourself. This is not an absence. This is power. Every day, every breath, every decision is a chance to build your inner calm or let it slip away. Remember, true power doesn't come from loud words or dramatic reactions, but from the steady presence that unsettles those around you. We've explored the difference between appearing strong and actually being strong, how calmness becomes your greatest advantage, and why mastering your emotions changes the way others see you. From controlling your breath to commanding your body language, from understanding the science of calm to practicing the wisdom of the Stoics, you now have the tools to stay unshakable no matter what life throws your way. Let your calmness become so profound that it makes others stop and notice, not because you're forcing it, but because it's simply who you are. If you found value in these lessons, share your thoughts below and don't forget to check out the next videos right here.